G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Modern Warfare Ram-7. This is a weapon that has been ported from Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, the reboot that was made just a few years ago, and it's a bullpup weapon. It looks a little bit like a Tavor. It's got a little bit of customization, so we'll jump straight in. First of all, we've got the receivers, and the best you can get out of this thing would be the advanced automatic receivers, either in the Forge Tac variant or the XRK variant. So depending on which of these you like better, pick whichever one you want. Gives us 84 damage for a powerful auto receiver. I'm not really sure about that, but we'll keep going. Got a legendary effect, we'll ignore that one for now. And you can put some stuff on the underbarrel, including foregrips, grenade launchers, different types of foregrips, and also different types of grenade launchers. If we can utilize this high explosive grenade launcher, I feel like we'll be in pretty good hands. So we'll throw that on and we'll move on to the next thing. So this thing is just changing the stock. It's very subtle, the changes, and some of them reduce the weight a little bit, and some of them might imply that your recoil control would be better. But I would assume that most of these are just taken directly from the Call of Duty game, so they'll have little bearing to what their actual utility is on the weapon in its Fallout 4 mod, but we'll go for that one because it looks nice and comfortable. Next up, we've got the barrel. We've got a standard barrel right now, but we can increase our range by increasing the barrel length up to a maximum of 251 with a little boost of accuracy as well. Looks pretty good. And we're going on to blueprints. This is just another attachment point, and there's a bunch of these things, and where you get them, I'm not really sure. But yeah, a bunch of paints on it. Sort of, ooh, very blue there. Some of it just there to, I guess, increase the size of your mod download, but there you go. No blueprints can be applied right now. We can throw on some lasers, including a 5 milliwatt or a 1 milliwatt or a tactical laser, which goes when you're aiming down sights, I suppose. We'll go for that one, and we'll move on to the barrel. You can have a couple of flash guards, as they call them, muzzle brakes, compensators, or suppressors, giving us 105 damage. That's not too bad. We're almost getting to assault rifle levels of damage, vanilla game assault rifle, so there you go. You can put some grip tape on the grip if you want. Makes it look a little bit more comfortable, so why not? You can have some Call of Duty perks. Marathon is nice, gives you more action points. HP regeneration, not that great. Regenerates action points faster is also good. Heavyweight, also interesting, but you have to have the weapon out to utilize that. Blast shield slices all damage you receive considerably. I'm considering putting that on. There's usually something like Sleight of Hand as well for faster reloads, but I think we'll probably need to be tanking up a little bit. So we'll go for Blast Shield on this one, but there is a lot of perks, lots of things like Fortifies Rad Resist, less useful. Timing of aiming down sights half, but it's good representation from all of these different types of things. You got a favorite loadout from this thing in Call of Duty, you could probably replicate it fairly easily in here. And here you go, here's some extra damage you can get from prestiging this thing. And the way you do that is giving yourself things from camouflage. So if you want to use this thing, you gotta grind. And how you achieve the camouflage is actually quite interesting. So for this one, for example, you need 15 soft-shell Mirelurk meats, and there's lots of other things. None of them are requiring 15 meats. In fact, all of them have been 5 post those first 3 that I looked at, but there's plenty of things you can do. You could say that it's a little bit of grind, but if you are wanting to just run around and use this thing, just kill a bit of time, you can go out of your way to find some of these creatures. You can make it look different, painted up, and there's Damascus down here, which is like the try-hard paint. When you got that, that's when you know everyone knows you mean business in Call of Duty. And obviously that just requires every single, not every single one, but a lot of these perks and 30 Deathclaw meat, so you know, it's like grinding for it in Call of Duty, possibly less frustrating though. And I think I missed out on the optics. Right now they're iron sights, we can throw on some holographics. There's some scopes in here as well, which are pretty nice. We'll try to get something nice and elevated so it's not obscured by the sights that are just sort of folded down. And there we go. There's our Modern Warfare Ram-7. Kind of getting Killzone vibes of this gun at the moment. A little bit of M82 assault rifle. Who remember? Oh yeah, you can also change the magazine capacity from standard 30 up to 40, 50, and also 60. On your chemistry workbench, you can find weapon-MW Ram-7. Here you can craft all the grenades for the grenade launcher and the Ram-7 in and of itself. There it is right there. Gun nut rank 4 and a bunch of these materials. You can make it for yourself in your inventory. And we're going to stock up on some of these grenades too. So yeah, we'll grab a few of those. Righto, so here we are outside of the Immersive Gunners Plaza. Here is our Ram-7 in first person, aiming down the sights there. Looks pretty nice. Going over to third person now. Firing this thing, you can see the ejection port moves out, and there's a reload animation in third person as well. You can see right through that ejection port. I'm not sure if that's entirely accurate, but maybe it's an ambidextrous thing. It opens up on both sides. Isn't that nice? So that's what it looks like in first and third person. I've also made this one here just for the standard iron sights because I never use iron sights. This one has a shorter barrel and a compensator as well. And it definitely sounds like a COD gun when you fire this thing. It's got that very popcorn machine-esque sound to it. So yeah, it feels genuine, but I see a bunch of gunners all walking along the front, probably trying to find their way back into the place, but whilst they're all sort of messing around about the side there, I might as well just start shooting these guys, and you'll notice that we're not getting damage numbers anymore. I've taken that mod out because it just causes too many problems with the HUD. I have to reboot the game multiple times in order to get the HUD to work, and then, you know, through later updates and updates to script extender, the floating damage mod has not been updated in a very long time. Didn't cause problems when they first updated or put the current update on, but over time it's just gotten worse and worse. So unfortunately, we're not seeing any damage numbers to figure out exactly how much we're doing. But if we're dropping these gunners this fast from back here, it's a pretty good deal. And I think there's a turret up there too. Take that out. There you go. And we'll throw some grenades in for good measure, shall we? Notice how I didn't have to use some sort of extraneous hotkey to actually get that done. What actually happens is you hit the bash button, it goes through the reloading animation of the underslung grenade launcher, and then you'll fire it after a somewhat lengthy reload. Now that grenade there probably wasn't all that impressive, and it kind of really isn't. You can get it right next to a dude, you only get that much damage done to him. So that'll give you an idea of how much the grenade launcher does, but it's fairly dynamic in its design as I mow down that guy. One magged him, but it cost me 60 bullets to do it. We've also got the plasma grenade variants of this, which add a little bit more punch. You can just switch to dynamically just by going over to the grenade launcher version. And there you go, a free plasma grenade explosion there. It's not that much stronger, to be honest. I don't know why that gunner just got thrown like 60 meters there, but what can you do, eh? It's better than nothing. The recoil on this thing is fine. I could probably just zero it on the head. If I do miss sometimes, it's not the end of the world because I've got so many other bullets coming its way. There's basically no recoil to speak of. Don't you bloody heal, mate. These guys trying to no-scope me. Decided to pick up a new gun before they wanted to reload. But yeah, the grenade's power thus far hasn't really been all that impressive. Even these plasma grenades, you know, despite them being plasmas, they're not really that powerful. So I've decided to bring on these ones. Sorry, this one, which is a 40mm nuclear grenade, which has the same sort of effect as a mini nuke. Now that is the power we want. Give them Division Iris, get it? Because she's a child of Adam, or at least former child of Adam. You see it right there. So, you know, this is a fairly, I guess, patriotic weapon for her to use. Almost gets the job done in one hit, and we actually ragdolled that gunner, sent her down, and she died from the fall damage after she got up, of course. And fun fact, if you don't have a grenade launcher variant on this thing, as I mow this guy down, attempt to, with the loud variant, if you don't have the grenade launcher, you just throw them. You just throw the grenades like that, and it's faster. It's like faster for some reason. And you throw it like a baseball pitch too. Look at this. You didn't say that. And the best part about throwing them like this is they've basically got no drop, so your effective range as well as DPS is just increased so much. You just spam them like you would a fat man in Fallout 76 if you're a duper. There's a mantis in front of me. Get out of here, bastard. There we go. You just hit him. It's like the fastball from Borderlands 2 in a way, I suppose, which I think is kind of funny. But this time we'll try to jump over the wall, the fence, before we get started. And I feel like the initial shot is just a little bit louder. We've got all these guys gathered around, so we'll just yeet some rocks in there. That'll get the job done. A couple of knockdowns for my troubles there as well. I like how the idiot savant thing procced when a gunner was standing in the exact perfect position to not get blown up by my superior pitching skills. Like a fastball. And that gunner goes flying because why wouldn't he? You get him ragdolled, you give him any bit of physics and they're just completely weightless. Physics no longer applies to them. So this is probably the better way to run it. Just craft a bunch of these grenades, which you get for free, by the way, at least some of them, and just yeet them. Just whenever. Now, I will concede that I don't have all of the prestige upgrades for this particular variant. So I'm not getting the maximum bullet damage, but I feel like the damage we're getting out of the pitching grenades is enough to get the job done. As that gunner stumbles to her feet and tries to throw a grenade back, it's not happening. The trees. Nuclear-proof trees. There we go. Random ghoul shows up. And he's pissed off at me now. Yeah. Actually, he kind of heals me. Oh, I've got no time for Rust Devils. Get out of here. Okay. Let's worry about the fastest I've ever killed those guys. One quick grenade throw and that's them finished. We'll send that grenade on its way whilst we're going down to these next few over here. The explosion radius here is pretty great as well, but I didn't expect this to be a throwing video in the end. But one of these weapon systems is particularly more effective than the other. The perk on this one is sleight of hand, if you are wondering. Now I'm down to 2 grenades, so we've been going through them pretty quickly, and we'll use the rest of them, I think, just here to get... Not that guy. He was standing over a bit of impenetrable fire escape, so, you know, if they can stand up to nuclear fire, they can probably stand up to a regular old fire, I suppose. It's just fortunate that I've got a huge amount of ammo capacity to kill these guys before they get too much damage on me. Because the DPS on this thing isn't too bad, but its bullet expenditure is similar to that of a minigun in this game, and that's not gonna do. Tell you what I might do here is, we'll pretend that we breach this, and this is the flashbang. Would you expect a plasma grenade to be used as like a flashbang, like a lethal flashbang, right? Because it's just a big ball of light that happens. Maybe not so much during the sunlight, but maybe not. Anyways, there was the Ram-7 in Immersive Gunners Plaza. Passed it first try. I suppose we'll go and find some creatures as we're currently transfixed on something there. That's kind of weird. Also, classic holstered weapons, it's a little bit too high up, so this is one of those cases where it doesn't enhance the weapon mod, or isn't a good apparel item to wear. Okay, so we've got no good grenades left, but we've got a suppressor and an automatic weapon, so I feel like we might be able to do a pretty good job if we play our cards right here. So as we're going to slaughter this guy as quickly as possible, we've already gotten a decent amount of his health out already, and now we can hide under here, and then we'll just like shoot bullets at his knees with a 4.4 times multiplier until he gives up. Oh, actually, you might want to walk around this time. He will for a second. That's him mutated at the very least. There we go. We're slowly chipping away at his health bar there. I think this fight is ours, so before it gets too cheap, I'm going to go over here and take out this man. That guy as well. Whoops, I think that was the hostage. Well, okay, I think this is a proper Nightkin Warlord equivalent, so they're going to be tanky, and I can't even bats them either. Speaking of bats, let's try it out a little bit, hey? Maybe add some criticals in there. That's doing a pretty good job there. We went through them quickly, but... Okay, now we're in trouble because I've got a lot of killing to do, and I might have to switch over here. My secondary is also a primary. Checkmate. Also, I leveled up at the specific right moment. So even despite my foolish plan of charging at a giant monster, when I could have just sat there and, you know, chipped at it cheaply, we've got the job done in the end, so I think that's a pretty good thing. Alright, we'll try one more monster. Maybe we'll throw some grenades at it just to see what we can do. And then we'll get back, we'll finish the video. We'll go home and eat fish and chips. Alright, let's finish this off by shooting some raiders who are a lot less scary than the gunners I was shooting at previously. But we'll finish it off with a giant crab. These guys shouldn't take too long to sort out, to defeat, because, you know, little baby raiders. Like, even the wasters, they can survive a few shots of this thing. Normally, modded guns sort them out in at least one shot. Probably even less, but maybe these guys have eaten their wheat bix today. Not having any problems taking them out, though. The rate of fire on this thing is really what's giving it its power, I think. That's pretty much where it's all coming from. The individual bullet damage isn't all that impressive, but yeah, even the veterans can stand up to it for a little bit. That's fine. That guy's got an incredibly low reaction time for someone who's probably high on jet, which is ironic. There's a Mile Queen over there, and dead. And I guess that's what separates this thing from the other guns in the vanilla game with a much lesser rate of fire. Yes, it's just, that's how powerful it can get. So we're gonna throw some grenades down range, see what we can do. I got no idea where that one ended up. I don't think there's any drop at all. I think I'm overcompensating for this. There we go. That's done something. You can probably... was that a direct hit? I'm not really sure, but we've got some staggers in there as well. I think the stagger chance of this thing would be fairly high considering. And we've got a couple of crits ready to go, so we may as well use them. This thing's crushing with the sneak criticals. It is during the night though, so it's going to be slightly easier. I like how you also get the grenade trajectory beam that you get if you are throwing a grenade, because I guess as far as the game is concerned, we are technically throwing a grenade right now, despite all of this fancy animation painted over the top. And you're not going to see me once, are you? How about now, buddy? Oh yeah. Alrighty, so deceptively high DPS, but if you went and actually grinded out the skins for this thing, just in case you didn't want to do it in Call of Duty or something, you can have a pretty good time with this thing, and it's got some power behind it, especially if you want to go for a more stealth commando type build direction, which why wouldn't you in Fallout 4? It's an amazing playstyle. It just kills everything so quickly, but yeah, if you like to see this thing in your game, this gun's been around for a while, so I'd expect at this point there'd be some sort of Xbox version of this out there. But if there isn't, you could probably get the Tavor or find some other alternative to get it. But a good weapon mod, Warfighter, if you're watching. I don't care that I'm blacklisted. I still love you, brother. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, guys.